What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts for the Real Fan Review, coming out of Long Island, New York. With me today, we got my brother, your brother, B.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Yeah, we got my boy, your boy, our man in the chair, the guy with the answers, the guy who hooks up the video, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, man. And listen, I think we might be having some Wi-Fi technical difficulties. So if you're watching on YouTube, hey, apologies ahead of time. But if you're listening on the podcast, probably won't notice. Probably won't notice. So anyway, man, listen, today's episode, we're talking about today is the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, episode number 7, and She-Hulk, episode 7. Now, I have to remind Al and Brandon, we're talking about episode 7 of She-Hulk because they went ahead and watched episode 8.
Oh,
You bastards.
sorry. Didn't know we weren't supposed to.
I didn't know the embargo wasn't lifted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we are recording on a Thursday night. Life comes and takes over our lives. Things were coming up for all three of us. Oh, actually, all four of us. There is a fourth, Sanjay, who doesn't do recording anymore. So listen, we're back today and we're going to give you our review of Game of Thrones House of Dragons. And listen, we're going to do our She-Hulk episode 8 and Game of Thrones House of Dragons episode 8 on the next podcast. So listen, before we get into that, today dropped a trailer for Mario, Super Mario. And actually Brandon found it pretty interesting. So Brandon, tell me about your take on the Mario trailer there.
Oh, yeah. I was actually super surprised by it.
Right.
I wasn't waiting for that to happen today. And the graphics alone were really impressive. And that whole opening scene with like the ice penguins from Super Mario 64, who we all hate, they actually were very cool. They made a very funny scene. And just, I'm still not sure how I feel about Chris Pratt voices Mario, because it seemed when he came out, he was like Chris Pratt. And then out of nowhere, there was this slight Italian accent towards the end of the trailer. So I'm waiting to see how this goes, but it actually looks really good. It looks fantastic, really. I'm going to be honest. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks pretty good there. And Al, how about yourself, man? What'd you think of the trailer?
I didn't get to see it. I saw you guys throw it out there that it was out, but just got caught up doing a couple other things. I didn't get to see that.
I thought it was going to be a
Too busy watching.
disaster.
Yeah, it definitely came off a lot better than I expected. I thought the trailer was really interesting. I did not know where those penguins came from, so that was awesome for me to see. But yeah, very interested to see the bigger trailer, better trailer. But as far as the animation looks great. Toad looks great. Mario looks great. Mario actually sounded like a more Americanized Mario than the "Here we go." You know, so
I was waiting for it to end with like, "It's a me, a Mario." Right, I was waiting for
it. Yeah, man. So I was very surprised by that, man. So luckily, again, it was just a teaser trailer just to kind of let us know the movie's coming out in April. I mean, that's 7 months away. I think it's.
Damn.
Yeah, when I saw the end of the movie, I was at the end of the trailer. I was like, "Wow, well, that's pretty new." I mean, we used to get trailers a year away from a movie. Now it's like almost like 3-4 months before a movie comes out.
If you're Marvel, it's like a month.
Right? So it's like very interesting to see the different marketing, ideas and how they're doing it. But again, Mario, check it out. It's on YouTube. Just came out today because we're recording on a Thursday. So it did come out today, the day before we recorded. And now we will get back to the regularly scheduled Game of Thrones House of the Dragon review of episode 7, which came out last Sunday. And another great episode, man. I just think it was just another fantastic episode to get us into this world of Game of Thrones, of Westeros, and what's going on here. And I just think that it was such great TV, man. The politics are getting deeper, the animosity is getting bigger. It's just absolutely crazy. So let's get right into it. Al, talk to me, my brother. What did you think of Game of Thrones episode 7?
This episode, surprisingly, like last episode, I was like, I didn't give a shit about either of them. They could both bite it and I wasn't going to care. This one put me back on Rhaenyra's side. Alicent to me came off like a spoiled baby, almost, so to speak. Like with the way everything played out, it felt like Rhaenyra had the better hand in terms of playing the politics of like, ooh, look at what she's doing, look what she's saying, and that little jab at the end. Um, I put me back on Rhaenyra's side. Uh, the boys, the way they're developing, it's interesting in terms of I'm already projecting a winner in terms of families just based on the next generation, because you got
Right.
one group of kids that looks like if you breathed at them the wrong way they would fall down and cower, whereas you have another set of boys that look like they're ready for a fight anytime.
Right.
So, I'm projecting a winner in terms, because they're alluding to a big family civil war. I mean, even in the
Yeah.
episode, you saw at one point, you saw the battle lines draw out. You saw who was on whose side and who
Right.
was on the other. So it's gonna be, if those are the battle lines that actually do play out, it'll be interesting because you have heavy hitters on both sides.
Hmm.
Um, but it's going to be funny to see how the later generations play out, especially with what's the one scene? Not Aegon, the brother, the one-eyed guy kid at the end of the episode.
Amon.
Aemon?
Yeah, something
Amon or
like,
Amon? Yeah.
Aemon?
yeah. Especially considering that he finally got the one thing that everybody was making fun of him for not having.
He became a
Right.
fucking pimp afterwards too.
Shit.
The guy did the thing and he was like, "Yeah, fuck you." Like
All of a
out
sudden.
of nowhere, literally, it's all quiet and shit. He's like, "Oh, fuck you," like out of nowhere, like that's
All of a
it,
sudden, his walk was different.
right? He
Yeah.
got to lean. He got to
He got a little lean on him now. Yeah, man.
lean.
And how about for yourself, Brandon? I mean, this episode was a lot of, like Al pretty much said, the battle lines were drawn,
Oh yeah.
and you kind of saw it was like almost like Avengers Civil War, where you saw the line of who's on this side and who's on that side. That lineup was kind of crazy on the Rhaenyra side, kid.
Dude, I can't lie. Like, it's so funny when like Game of Thrones keeps doing this. Like, yo, you can't get married in peace. People can't die in peace. Like shit's gotta happen at every occasion.
All the time,
It's all a celebration.
every time.
And then it's my favorite how fucking Sir Kristen Cole has to keep getting checked. Like,
Yeah.
no, my friend, back up. Fall back, fall back. like we have to think about, like, this guy is just so angry because 10 years prior he just didn't get the girl. Like, he's that
Right.
angry, and the girl
Yeah.
is the one he's trying to like hurt. Like, it's just like that spiteful, so like, and I understand why, I'm being dramatic, but like, in terms of like how far he was willing to go. Like, he was pushing. He had his own little toothpicks stabbing everybody in the back. He was like, yeah, I'm getting ready. He's like, oh, she got the blade. I'm about to pull out my blade.
Mhm.
And then for Damon to be like, not your time, buddy. Not your time. Fall back.
Yeah.
This
No, but even
episode.
he had to. Yeah, but he even got checked by the older guy, because
Oh,
when
yeah,
the
he
queen
did.
called to him, he was ready to respond,
Mhm.
and then he looked at the other guy, and then he had
Oh,
to
yeah,
respond.
the
Only,
the Kingsguard, right? It was the Kingsguard. He was like, Cole.
yeah, he
Cole.
looked at him, and then that's when he had to respond with, "No, no, only in your defense."
Yeah. Cole.
Yeah.
But he was about to go.
It was waiting. I was like, damn. But this episode was nuts. It was building the whole episode, and just, I thought
Yeah.
it was going to stop when we got to the kids having their fight. When the kids had their fight, I thought we were just leading to the kids having their fight. But then, fuck it, let's just do a battle royale with the adults too. Like, god damn. And just, it was funny. We saw the lines cross, and you just saw a king who just, fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to live. Like, I've got to do my duty to the heir I promised, but shit,
Mhm.
my kids and my wife too. God damn it.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I love this episode. I think it was fantastic. Finally, the king made a position known. he told Rhaenyra and for Alicent to stop, to be done with this bickering. And I felt like, wow, this is the first time he's actually said something. And we also realized that we all kind of knew he was pretending not to notice the kids didn't look like Lenor.
Hmm.
But
We
he admitted
all
this time.
know.
We all
We
know.
all know.
Yeah, but we realize now he's just refuses to let anyone else in on it. So I mean, listen, let's get to the beginning of this episode here, man. We start with the funeral for Lena, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And with the funeral for Lena going on, it's weird because once again we have all the pieces. You know, all the pieces are there and all the people are there. You have everybody in their own situations, but you can feel like there's things happening, right? You have Corlys.
Salt runs deep in the blood. Salt runs deep in the blood.
And how about Damon just like can't control himself?
Yeah. Well, actually, if you catch on to it, it's not that he wasn't trying to like be silly. He was actually coming to Rhaenyra's defense because
Mhm.
when the I guess pastor, for lack thereof better words, when the pastor was saying that spiteful thing, he was looking at Rhaenyra and he was causing tension around everybody to look at Rhaenyra. So Damon did his little like snarl, like the little gasp, just to bring the attention on him
Yeah.
and off of her.
Gotcha. I mean, listen, it was cool, and then it's just so everybody look at him like, "What a dick,"
This is your
you
wife's
know.
funeral.
But it's just so funny to see the dynamic of everybody, right? We have Aegon, who we think is off his fucking rockers,
Yeah.
right? He's over there trying to drink and flirt with the staff that's helping out bring the drinks and the food and stuff. Then we have it's pretty much they're on their own sides and own corners here, and it's just like, damn, this is getting ugly, you know.
Hmm.
And as we notice, the hand is now Otto. Otto is back in the fold, which is more towards Allison's team that's going to help this team, I guess, in the battle of the blue. What is it? The blue, and the black and the greens, right? The black and the greens. Okay, yeah. And you know, it's just so interesting to see everything play out. So then we have Rhaenyra looking at Damon, trying to get his attention or to talk to him. Then the king wants to talk to him. And again, the king is trying to make peace with Damon to get him to come back to King's Landing and stay with him. And, you know, trying to be, I guess, like a good brother, like understanding where he just came from because he had a similar experience. And
Hmm.
Damon was like, I don't need you, bro. Don't need you. Don't want you. Don't need you, you know? And I don't know, Al. I know at first you had mentioned that in the beginning of this season, you said it was kind of icky, this whole Damon and Rhaenyra thing. Now that
Yeah.
they're a little bit older, does it still feel icky for you? Because it did for me.
Yeah, because it's still an uncle and his niece,
Yeah, thank
So
you.
no matter how you, no matter what the age difference or how old she gets, that's still his niece. So
Right.
it's still awkward. But as I guess, as I get more and more into the show and just remembering how they operate in this world, it didn't surprise me, and especially that she took on more of the lead in pushing it and asking for it, in essence, telling him to take her and so forth. And and
Hmm.
she was pushing a lot of the pieces this time,
Yes, she
like because
was.
even during the funeral, like you were saying, she had to tell her sons, you know,
Go talk to
this
them.
is, yeah, like because like even the kid was like, yo, we shouldn't be here. We should be over there mourning my father's loss and
Yeah.
my grandfather. He didn't say it in that many words, but that's what he was saying. Like, we
Right.
should be mourning somewhere else. And she was like, listen, go to your cousins. So, like, she's even playing the chess there during a funeral in terms of, no, we have to keep up appearances, go to your cousins, and so forth. And, and then with going to Damon and pushing that and meeting him on the beach and everything, like, it's it's funny that even like I thought she was taking on a big risk, and then that scene with the kid, I thought he was going to catch them, and I thought that's where they were going with the scene.
Right.
Um, that you're on the beach, and again, it's just as much as it was going to be a crime before. It would have still been a crime. You're still married. You're still it still would have been a big blow. You would have lost your title and maybe
Right.
kicked out. And she was still taking that risk for him. So that's why I was saying it put me back on her side, because as much as I thought she was just doing her own thing and throwing tradition and everything to the wind, I get later in the episode we get reminded, no, this was the agreement. She was doing what her and the Westa Lenor,
Yeah.
they had agreed,
Right.
and even he had to say, you
They're
know what,
doing their duty.
yeah, So I was like, you know what, she's not doing anything wrong. He went and had his, affairs. She went and had hers. The only problem is hers resulted in her getting pregnant a couple of times, and
Hmm.
so it just, again, it just shows how much, as much as much as you don't think it really plays into silly stuff like this,
Right.
how much everything has to be a show, no matter how obvious it is. And back then, like, because of their position, like, you have to make the other as long as the other person's not willing to say it, she can basically call her bluff, like, and then she actually ultimately does it to create the scene where she says, nope, my kid's legitimacy of being called into question, and I want to know by who. And
Right.
so, that's why I say, nah, that's my girl. I've heard some stuff about how this all plays out, but for right now,
And then
I'm on
That's
even
your
her
girl.
side.
even when Lord Corliss was talking with the queen who never was, or I forget her name, she was like, "Listen, like we all know, like we can't play these games. Like we have other family." He's like, "They don't remember blood; they remember names."
They remember
Yeah.
names,
Oh, I thought that
absolutely,
was, yeah, I
chorus.
thought that was a great line.
Mm-hmm.
But it also showed that he's playing the game for himself as well. He
Mm-hmm.
makes it seem. I mean, listen, there's some part of it that where he's doing it because he feels like his wife was disrespected.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
there's a big part of it that is his own lineage, his own, like, his family name
Yeah.
being, as the king or queen of King's Landing of Westeros there. So it's very
And he was
interesting, man.
promised. He was promised in the marriage of everything.
Hmm.
Right?
He was
Exactly,
promised that
man.
this heir would be this, and his name would be risen up to this, and so he was going
Hmm.
to get something out of it, and so he still is. He's got to hold on it.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And Brandon, what was your thoughts there of the whole Rhaenyra and Damon aspect of this episode, where they pretty much are linking up and they're coming to this agreement to kind of make this happen because Rhaenyra kind of feels like she needs someone to have her back and someone that's going to provide either strength or fear.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's smart, and it's about time, in terms of it's happening. I mean, on the day of his wife's funeral, I know that's kind of kind of weird, but like
Yeah.
in terms of a power play on her end, that's it. That's the play,
Right.
and then for them to agree to marriage after at the end of the episode, she's just setting in stone now of where she's trying to be on this chessboard. You know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
she's calling out Allison and saying, "I understand now that you are on the other side of this board, and I've got to beat you." And so
Right.
she's making her plays.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, as much as I said I was a little bit like skeeved out with the whole uncle niece aspect of it, I kind of have to get over myself realizing it's just a TV show and this is what they did in their time and what they did to create power. Because even she brings it up, the King Aegon from years ago married two of his sisters.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm skeeved out with that, I would throw up with the other one. So you know what I mean? So it's like I got to realize this is part of their time and what they did there to keep lineage and the family strong and the family name strong.
Yeah.
On the other aspect of it, again, we have Alicent now, and it seems like Alicent is just seeing everything that's happening, and also a little bit concerned because this thing that happened with Rhaenyra's paramour, I guess we can call him. That's what they were calling him in the last episode there. But he was part of the King's Guard,
Hmm.
and it's also in that aspect, I think Rhaenyra is kind of like not realizing that Allison has something to do with it. She knows something happened. They find out, but she doesn't. I think she's not putting two and together that either Allison knows or has something to do with it,
Yeah.
which is pretty interesting. But Allison knows that. But
Yeah.
I think like in the aspect of Allison's perspective, she's just wanting to do whatever she can to make sure that her kids now are up there. And now with her dad back in the fold, it just seems like all the pieces are being put together.
Hmm.
Another part, because I don't really remember anything with Allison besides her being there with the funeral and everything looking awkward and feeling awkward. And I think it was Laris, the freaking creepo that was that killed his own father and brother. I think he was lingering and looking at Kristen Cole was like, look at him. If you need me to tell him something, let me know because he's looking at you real creepy. I mean, that was at the funeral, dude. Like,
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
off.
He's waiting for his repayment, you know?
But is
Oh
it
man.
that he loves her or what? Because like I'm
I
still
mean,
trying to
he
gather what his motivation
in the
is.
episode, he actually becomes the Lord of Hightower because his father is dead. So it seemed
Right.
like he got
What
something
he
out of
wanted
it.
or got something, yeah.
He got something out of it, and I guess now he's seeing the chessboard himself, and now he's trying to either put
Mhm.
himself on it or make himself an accessory to be getting something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, the other pieces we see, again, we already spoke about Corliss, we talk about Rhaenyra and Daemon. Now, another part of this thing that happens besides besides Aragon getting drunk is Aemon, the other son, or Aragon's old Aragon's younger brother here, the one that had the pig as a dragon. He goes off, and we're trying to figure out where's he going. And I think, like Al had just mentioned before, I thought they were trying to set up the fact that he was going to witness Rhaenyra and Daemon together.
Yeah, I
But
thought
what
so
he
too.
ended up doing, and I thought that's where they were headed with this. I was like, oh shit, they're going to kill him, just kind of like that similarity to Game of Thrones episode 1,
They threw Bran out the
where
window.
Sir Bran, what was it, the king, that the broken
The
king, or
Bran the Broken.
Bran the Broken. What a horrible fucking name.
The
Uh
queen who never was.
Jesus, there's some bad nicknames. Yeah, they'd be Javier, the kid who didn't graduate. Like he who couldn't rap. But listen, what's it called? It felt like that's the angle they were going to with that, with the whole thing there. And what ended up happening is he's actually playing a game himself. And I guess they're feeding off of that last episode where he didn't have a dragon. He made a power play. He
Hmm.
went after Vagar, the biggest dragon, and the dragon that it was dragonless because that was uh
Lena.
is it Lena's dragon who just recently passed away. And I really thought he was gonna get fired on, bro. I thought I thought he was gonna be burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
I know, dude. When I mean, did you guys all have difficulty seeing the dark scenes in there?
Oh, yeah, I just had all the lights
That was
off.
everybody.
Yeah, that was everybody. I had the lights off, so it
Okay.
worked out.
But I mean, listen, when he got to the dragon, even though the shitty effects with the darkness, because most likely they filmed this shit in the daylight, most likely, and tried to make it dark after the fact. I gotta tell you, man, the freaking dragon Vagar looked amazing.
It did.
Yeah.
It looked really
Absolutely
good.
amazing. Shit looked real. It
Hmm.
looked real. And Aemon got his way, man. And the rule is these dragons attach themselves to one person and will listen to only one person. So once Vagar listened to Aemon, that was it. Aemon is his dragon from here on out. But as we kind of mentioned before, this dragon belonged to Damon's wife, Lena, and she had the twin daughters
She had
and
her two
another,
daughters. Yeah,
was there any other kids or just the twins?
just the twins. The baby died with Lena.
Just the twins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. And I guess they assumed that that dragon would have been one of theirs.
Yeah.
And he just went ahead and made a power move and took it.
Mhm.
And I guess because he took the most powerful, biggest dragon there is, he's got a swag now.
Yeah, he does.
you know? And I think, what is it, that he's flying around with the thing and everyone sees him flying around with the thing. He comes back, and I think the kids all notice it.
Yeah.
And dude, I gotta tell you, man. Again, I've seen some shit in Game of Thrones. I have seen the full series of Game of Thrones, and now we're watching House of Dragons. dude, there was something uncomfortable about those kids fighting, dude. it was it was Lord of the Flies. It was
Yeah. No,
dude,
it was
when Amon picked
crazy.
up like first of all, because I never got that vibe from Amon that he was like a killer
Like he was
or
fucking
mean.
deranged.
Right. But it was just like all of a sudden he felt like he had this power now because he has a dragon. And and not for nothing, he felt bullied. I guess what he's fighting back this time.
Yeah.
But dude, when he picked up that rock,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was gonna.
Al, tell me what you thought of that whole scene there with the kids, man. That was pretty
Yeah,
intense.
yeah. When he picked up the rock and he was, it looked like he was gonna strike. It didn't look like he was gonna show mercy. So, like when the brothers
Right.
jumped in and the girls even jumped in to help, like it was like self defense, like because he was gonna hit with a rock and so forth. So when he got stabbed, sliced and everything, and they double teamed, triple teamed him, I didn't feel bad for him at all.
Nah, he's
Because
being a dick.
yep, yeah, and
And it
you're
was him or
sitting
them.
there. Well, no, because he was the first one that made it violent.
Yeah.
They were just bitching that you went and took a dragon. He was the
Right.
one that made it physical. So you got what you basically got what you asked for because you were the one that took it past that line.
Right.
So
And then Brandon, he also called I guess he called out the kids telling them that
bastards.
They're
they were
bastards.
bastards,
Yeah.
right? And that kind of took that fight to the next level.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that fight was it was just crazy to watch. Like very well choreographed, very well believed. And then up until the knife, like when the
Oh yeah.
knife came out, I was like, oh fuck. I thought actually he was gonna
Yeah.
get stabbed and this was gonna get worse than it was. But when it was just the eye, and I was like, that was a really gruesome, like that was a very gruesome scene with him getting his eye
Yeah.
sliced. I was like, oh shit.
Oh.
I was like, fuck. They showed that shit. Oh fuck.
That shit was getting gross.
Yeah.
He got fucked up.
Yeah, very crazy. I mean, listen, watching that, it was really intense. And I'm like, talk about edge of your seat. I didn't know what was going to happen or who was going to live or survive. Again, I haven't read the Fire and Ice story, or it's not the Fire and Ice,
Fire and
it's
blood.
the Fire and Blood story there. So I had no idea what was going to happen next. So I really thought those kids were going to stab him, and I didn't know who was going to end it. And also, I thought maybe one of the kids was going to hit with a rock too. And I'm just like, this shit is uncomfortable, you know. So I'm like, didn't know what to expect. And then also we get the scene with Amon, and then all of a sudden the Kingsguard all came in and stopped the fight. Or Sir Kristen Cole, I think, showed up too, right?
Yeah.
So they all stopped the fight, and then we get one of the most amazing scenes, dude. I mean, I think I will forever remember this scene because it was, again, there's no violence. It got close to violent, but there's just a lot of talking, a lot of like, what's at play here. So it's all the players and everyone who hates each other, and now there's reasons to hate, and there's more things going on, and it's just so intense. Wow. I mean, this scene, it was just, it's masterful. Whoever wrote it and whoever filmed it, it was just incredible. You got everyone here protecting their children, trying to figure out what happened and why. And
Mhm.
then you have the king come down and seeing that this, Aemon is freaking bleeding from his eye. Allison is losing it. Rhaenyra's trying to find out what's going on with the king, with her sons, and they tell her, like, they called us a bastard, you know.
Yeah.
And here we go. The king is like, enough of this shit. What happened and why? I need to know now. And then he asks Aemon what happened, and it's like, I think it gets brought out by Rhaenyra that someone called their kid the bastard, and he goes, "Where did you hear that from?" And for a second there, dude, I think they kind of hinted that he was going to say his mom.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
they
because he
kept
looked
looking
at her.
at her.
He kept looking at her,
They kept
right?
looking at her. Both of them.
Right. And then he goes, Aegon. Poor kid, man. Huh?
That's like me saying Eric.
You know?
Eric told me.
But And it was weird because right as the king was about to check his ass, he said, "Where did you hear that from? And who told you that?" And he goes, "Well, just look at them."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
dude." Well, did he say just look at them? Or he said, "Who doesn't know?"
He's like,
No, he goes, we all
we all
know. Just
know.
look at them.
Yeah.
Oh, we all. So he said a mixture of both.
Yeah.
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 And I think that pissed the king off because it's like, he thinks I guess he's selling it pretty well, and everybody's like playing him for stupid because it's like, yo, dude, we all know.
Yeah.
And at that point too, because again, we see Corliss, we see, that family there, we see Rhaenyra, and it's just like, dude, we do all know. You know what I mean? Al, tell me your thoughts on these scenes here.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go all at it, because you already had the
Right.
battle line drawn between Damon and Cole from the first episode, when they had the joust. So you already know that they're going to bump heads and go at each other. You already had
Right.
Damon had to check Cole when he was he was going to head over to take an eye. He was like, well,
He gave him chill. Don't you move, bro. This ain't for you, brother.
so, and that's what I'm saying. Like you had the drawing of the line because you had in that one scene, you had Damon, Rhaenyra, the kids, Corliss, and the king's sister, and all on one side, and then you have the queen and everybody, Cole and everybody on the other side. Um,
Right.
so I want to see how this plays out because you have what is it, 2/3 of of the people that have dragons are on one side,
Right.
and so it's going to be interesting when these two sides actually start really fighting. Because they had to stop, and even the queen like bugged out.
Mhm.
Like Rhaenyra says to her, "They see you as you really are." So
Right.
she's trying to portray like, "Oh, I'm this nice, quiet,
Here
respectable
you are.
person." And
Here
meanwhile,
you
look,
are.
she's crazy,
Yeah.
she's a crazy queen. And it was funny that after that scene plays out, what the father says to her, in terms of consoling her, but and he really showed that he's just playing the game, and
Mhm.
and that now he's happy to see that she's playing it as well and willing to play it as aggressively as she
Yeah.
has to. But I thought it was the king again. To me, as much as I liked how he tried to handle it, like, listen, we're just a big family, cut this shit out. The one part that I didn't like
Right.
was when he didn't check the wife, because like, yo, he's sitting there saying, as your king, I order it, let this go. He starts to turn around and the queen says, well, the queen doesn't accept that. Like, in essence, like she can
Ooh.
override him.
Yeah. Yeah. She checked
He
him
goes,
back.
she was like, well, the
Yeah.
queen demands an eye. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
like another king would have said, okay, fine, kill the queen. And we're, and if you're not going to listen to me. So it just showed again, like, as much as I was starting to respect him for what he was trying to do in the scene, it again put me back like, yo, this guy's got no control of the situation.
And
No.
like you can't even blame the sickness anymore,
No.
Like that's like you gave it to him because he was sick for a while, but now it's
You
like
gave it to him. I never gave it to him. I hate that guy.
it was like he's sick, but like no, like no, dude,
Right.
like you fucked. Like, you're fucked. Like you can't remember her name. Like you said your dead wife's name to her.
And Brandon, man, what'd you think of Allison, man? Actually taking out the knife and going after. She said, "Well, then I'll take it." One of the kids' eyes.
Yeah,
Because well, at first she demanded that Sir Kristen do it.
yeah.
That was intense, man.
She's
Mm-hmm.
just, it's just the her father got in her head to get her to play the game, and from the day he said you need to open your eyes and see it's them or us, and if you think it's them, you're dead and your family's dead. From that point, she's like, if I can't get them gone or dead, she's like, then my family's dead, I'm dead. So now she's just
Right.
acting out for her thinking that she needs to save herself. Meanwhile, like, and this doesn't seem like the case on Rhaenyra's head, but in Allison's head, this is what's gonna happen. So I need to stop this shit now. And so when she grabbed the dagger and she went to do it herself, I was like, oh
Oof.
fuck.
Yeah. And how about her actually cutting Rhaenyra?
Yeah, like that's when she cut her, I was like, oh, was like, where are we going
First
with
blood.
this, you know?
Drop the first bud of blood.
And that was
Mhm.
it, and that was it. Set it off like from this point now, whether Rhaenyra felt this way about you or not, she does now.
Yeah, dude. And
You're
now she
dead if I get
sees
the
it, man.
chance. If I get the chance, you're fucking dead.
Yeah, man. Dude, it is on. And if anyone needed, like before, you could kind of say they're all just playing the game and putting the chess pieces on the board. I think what happened in this setting here, it's on.
Yeah.
It's
the,
on
ga-
now.
the game has actually started.
The game is going on.
They were playing
It's
checkers
fourth
before.
quarter.
They were playing checkers before. It's chess now.
Yeah, definitely, man. And then we get hit with the line from Amon, as they're trying to control the peace between everything going on, and this just getting crazier and crazier. And Amon just says, I may have lost the eye, but at least I gained the dragon. I was like, oh, hard body, son. Yeah, man. And it's funny because then Otto says the same thing. He's like, fucking kid's right.
He ain't wrong.
Yeah, he said, as much as he hate that the kid lost the eye, we got a big piece now with Vagar. I mean, that's insane, man.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Absolutely insane. And then what we get is now the plan in place because I guess Rhaenyra feels the pressure of what's happening here.
Yeah.
Is that the game has now officially begun to go towards the end game of this, and she needs Damon on her team. So they come up with a plan, and it's great that the way that it worked out. But at first, I thought it was going to be really fucked up, where they were going to kill Leonor,
Laner, yeah.
Yeah.
Laner, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like they're going to kill this kid off, and they came up with the plan to pay off his paramour, that the guy that he's always with and around. And to be honest with you, there's not a lot of sweet and endearing things in Game of Thrones or in House of the Dragons here. But to me, the way that Laenor went out is awesome.
Yeah.
It's this plan in place to get him out. And, the way that Damon worded it to the Paramour was make sure this is public, make sure everyone sees, and at the same time, go to a place where everything is accepting of what you do. Beautiful, man.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I did think they killed his ass though. That's not at first I thought that I did think at first that they killed his ass. I was like, why make it public? And I guess it was like to make sure people know that maybe Damon and Rhaenyra are crazy and they'll do anything, but it was more of make it public so it could be more believed.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Al, you still with us, man?
Yeah. I'm still here. Yeah.
All right,
Now,
cool, brother. What'd you think?
no, I thought it was cool. The only thing that kind of made me feel like that it was going to be a little twist like that was when they showed them killing the one guy on the stairs. And I'm like, why
The
did they have
bait?
to? Yeah, why they need to kill that guy? And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And then later, I'm like, oh, he's the body that's burning.
He's the body
So,
that they needed, brother.
but yeah, but I like that because I rather they did it the way they did, like because
Yes.
him and Rhaenyra had just had a heartfelt conversation, where he was offering to become or try to become the man and husband that she deserved,
Yes, he
and he
was.
was committing himself to her and was willing to
And
defend
she
her and
called
fight
him.
for
She
her.
said it. Honorable. He's an
Yeah,
honorable man.
yeah. So I like the fact that they worked together to give him freedom so that he can have the life he wants with the person he wants, and now she
Yeah.
gets to have the life she wants with the person she wants. So
Beautiful.
they both got what they wanted.
Yeah, man, that was awesome to see,
Because
man.
because that would have been sad if they really did kill him off and
Yeah,
all of it.
it
I mean,
was.
it would have fit with the show, but it would have sucked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I wouldn't put it past Game of Thrones if they actually did it.
Yeah.
You're a good man.
But I'm glad they did that. You're a good man. But now, Brandon, with him out of the way, that's one chess piece gone. Power play mode comes in. Rhaenyra and Daemon get married.
In the grossest wedding
And
ever.
if the relationship wasn't gross enough, now we're cutting lips. I can't do paper cuts on the lips. Oh man. Marriage and blood. That whole blood marriage
Right.
stuff is just
That
gross.
was disgusting. That was fucking
Dude.
gross.
But that's their heritage, right? That's
I
their culture.
I could have done without
that's
that
the
scene.
way.
Yeah. I could have done without that one
Yeah,
for
man,
sure.
this is insane.
But they had the witnesses. They had their kids as witness.
That was the worst part, right? All the kids were there having to witness that.
Yeah. The kids have like, I don't know. I got like 3 dads. I don't know how this works.
Too crazy,
Oh my
man.
God.
So, I mean, listen, I saw the preview for next week. It looks interesting, looks crazy. Looks like they're coming down to King's Landing, and the guy says this is the beginning of the war.
Yeah.
Man,
There's
I'm
another
all
time
for it,
jump,
man. I'm
right?
looking forward to all this, man.
Yeah, it looks like another time jump.
I don't know, but we left off with the end of the episode there and next week's episode, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, listen, looking forward to next week's episode. Again, I just said it starts. It sounds like they're starting the actual war, and we all know if you're a Game of Thrones fan, episode 9 is going to be crazy. So
Someone's
wait
getting
until we get
gutted.
to episode 9. So episode 8, then episode 9, and then we have the season finale, episode 10. So 3 more episodes to go, and looking forward to it, man. It should be crazy. And so listen, we've been talking a long time about Game of Thrones, and we always talk about Incredible Hulk, not Incredible. I'm sorry,
She-Hulk.
we always talk about She-Hulk or Attorney at Law. Yeah. So we'll make it pretty quick here, man, because again, you guys saw episode 8, but episode 7, man, real quick, your thoughts, Al, on episode 7 of She-Hulk?
It actually, I mean, I like the whole retreat aspect. I thought that was that whole aspect with the guys and everything was, to me, I found it hysterical. I liked the comedy aspect of that episode. I just hate that they made this Josh guy be the bad guy. Like, I'd rather they would have just written him off and kept the client be the bad guy, and had the one that kept trying to talk to her about, can add a vibranium break your skin or something like. Yeah, and that, just have her have at least one good guy. But spoiler, it seems like she might be getting that good guy in this week's episode. But the comedy in 7 was hilarious. Was it Bronsky or
Blonsky.
Blonsky, and the whole
Blonsky, yeah.
retreat.
Get in the yurt. Go ahead, get in the yurt.
With the porcupine, when he takes off the mask and they go, "Oh, this smells like fart."
They're like, oh.
There was so many funny parts in this episode, but at the same time, like, for lack of a better word, sweet aspects, like, the guys getting behind her and making her build her confidence in herself. Because, like, what, that's been one of my complaints.
Absolutely.
Is like, how is she not building confidence in herself yet? Why are these people always able to make fun of her, get under her skin and everything? And, through meeting with these guys and talking things out, it looks like she's starting to build it in that episode.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I actually like this episode. I haven't liked the last 4 episodes, so to like this one was a surprise for me. It was really good. I thought it was sweet, like you said, the guys at the retreat. It was really nice to see that they kind of helped build her up. But I still feel like something's wrong. Like, the Wrecker is there, and here is Abomination, who was a bad guy, is there also. They're trying to be not bad guys anymore. It's just a little weird. And then, of course, we find out at the end of the episode that this guy at the wedding was a douchebag. It's just, if anything, I felt sorry for her, because I felt like, wow, she is really trying her best to be, Jen Walters and She-Hulk, and be loved and find love. And, that the way that she felt, like that whole that whole aspect. I think we've all kind of been there in some point of our life where we text someone and wait for the text to come back, or I could just put myself in her shoes and I was just like, damn, do I feel that? You know,
Yeah.
I get that. You know what I mean? So it's just it was a sweet episode to see. And again, I hate what's the guy's name that worked with the Hulk King at the end of the episode?
Josh.
Fuck
But
Josh.
yeah,
Seriously.
it's like he was too creepy to be a good guy. To be honest with you, like
Yeah,
the way
definitely
they had him
predictable.
in the approach.
We all predicted it though.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I was like, oh, I don't know about this guy. I never met a Josh I like, other than Josh Groban. He's a great guy. My mom really likes Josh Groban.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like overall, good story. No end credits. Just the previously on thing about 3 days before what happened with Josh and what he's
Oh
doing.
wait. I
I mean, you guys saw episode 8, so I was
No,
gonna.
I was just gonna say I thought that was
What were you gonna
when
say,
they do
Al?
the fourth wall breaking. I thought that was another hysterical part of it when she recognized the guy from the wrecking crew, and I didn't. Like I had no idea who that was, and she goes, "No way! Did they previously on this guy? Previously on him?" I
Yeah,
thought
because
that was
at first I didn't know
hysterical.
who he was either. She goes, "You probably don't remember him. Do previously on." So listen, man. Let's you know what? Let's end the podcast now before we get more fucking issues with the Wi-Fi there, man. So listen, I'm gonna go watch She-Hulk episode 8 as these guys already did. They said it was a great episode, so I'm looking forward to talking about She-Hulk episode 8 on the next podcast there for all of us here. And then I think my dad's probably watching Thursday Night
Yeah.
Football with Amazon, of course. So that's probably what the streaming shit issue is.
Oh, oh yeah,
Oh,
and
don't
they're
tell me I
streaming it in
frozen.
4K.
Full res, full res, full res. All right, so guys, we lost Hoff for the night, and we're so sorry with all the technical difficulties. Wi-Fi is not good right now, so and now for tonight, I guess Hoff is gone, so he pieced out. We got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And you got your boy B here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you on the next one. Until next time.